Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here, and finally we have Saki on the global side in the warehouse for you to be able to see after the update that just happened where they did some bug fixes. I was under the impression that after that update, Saki was going to be in the warehouse, and indeed she's here. This is what I've been waiting for. If you guys been watching my video, you guys know I've been waiting for Saki to be here so I can do a pre-analysis video going over everything that's officially on the global side at this time. So it's all official information. I'm sure there's going to be some mistranslations that get updated in the future, but as of right now, this is what we have. So I want to go over it with you guys, kind of give you my thoughts, once again my pre-analysis of Saki on the global side, and then get your thoughts down in the comments below. If you looked over this or after watching this video, let me know what you think about Saki. Let me know if you're excited, let me know if you're disappointed, let me know if you're going for her, or let me know if you're skipping. Intrigued to see what you guys have to say. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump straight into it really quickly. If you do enjoy the video or find it helpful, go ahead and drop a like. It just tells YouTube that the video was pretty decent. You kind of liked it and it's not terrible. Thank you so much. It just helps to get into the algorithm. Also, if you're new to the channel or if you haven't done it already, go ahead and consider subscribing. Join the FPG fam. We are on our way to 40k. Super excited about Saki. Cannot wait. Gonna have tons of video with her. Tons of video going over her. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So we do have the shatter at 13.9 and the charge at 8. This remains the same from the CN version, and I believe the rest does as well. The attack, resistance, HP all remains the same from the CN version. We have the ice shell, par the course, and then we have the elemental resonance for the frost resonance. So Saki is indeed coming with the frost resonance. So this kind of leads into my theory that the global devs want to give you the freedom of choice, per my last video that I put out, to let you decide if you want Frigg, if you want Saki, if you want both because you don't, care. This is kind of leading into my theory on that. So she does come with the frost resonance, which is extremely exciting. Now, we are going to go over the advancements really quickly first, and I do have the CN version pulled up as well, so that way I can dare to compare. And to be quite honest with you, when it comes to the advancements, they are for the most part the same. Just some rebalances when it comes to the damage percentage, which is something that we already had an inclination to. We already know that these simulacrums are getting rebalanced to fit and adjust to the global side per the enemies that we're fighting and the adjustments and rebalances to them as well. So it just kind of makes sense. But if we take a look at the 1-star, when frost resonance is activated, which is incredible because you're going to be doing that anyways, all weapon skill cooldowns are cleared every 5 times weapon skills are used, and the damage of flow and counterattack is increased by 1 time for the next 25 seconds. So we're going to go over flow and counterattacks here in just a second. That's built into her kit. But is increased by 1 time. That is different on the CN version per Tower of Fantasy Index. Massive shout out to them. It says and double the damage of those 2 things for 25 seconds. So it looks like it might be a rebalance there where it's just increased by 1 time instead of double the damage. So there you go, and you get that by using 5 weapon skills, which in a frost team you're probably going to be doing that pretty frequently. It just depends on who you're using. Now we're going to skip the 2-star, we're going to go straight to the 3-star, and that states excited flow, increase the damage of sword shadow surge to 350% of frost attack. Silent flow, the cooldown of sword shadow surge becomes 5 seconds. So the 3-star is pretty nice. Now I will say it does appear, just once again pre-analysis, early thoughts, that the 1-star is going to be sufficient with Saki. Getting that cooldown is going to be amazing, but the other advancements of course are going to be valuable in of themselves. Now excited flow and silent flow, once again we're going to talk about that here more in depth, so that way you get a better understanding of those two. It'll kind of make more sense. But this is really nice for excited flow. Increase the damage of sword shadow surge to 350%. Now that is a rebalance from the CN. It was 900%. I believe all of these percentages are being cut in half once again to take into account the enemies that we're fighting on the global side. It just, to me, makes sense. I know a lot of people are upset about it. To me, it makes sense though. I understand why, because if it was still 900% on the global side, you would be one-shotting everything, in my opinion, or 2-shotting, and it just would not be fun. It would be a massive power creep. It would just be insane, right? So 350%, I think Saki's going to perform beautifully. I think she's going to be doing damage regardless, but we'll go more into detail here in just a moment. And now let's take a look at the 5-star. Freeze time and trigger Fantasia upon surge hitting the target. share cooldown with the Fantasia triggered by dodging. And so essentially it appears that if your surge hits a target, then it's going to trigger a Fantasia. Now, if I'm mistaken about that, correct me in the comments down below. That just kind of sounds like what they're speaking about here in this translation for the 5-star, which if that's the case, the 5-star is pretty fantastic in my opinion. I think being able to manually trigger the Fantasia when you want to is pretty powerful, but that's for the 5-star. And then the 6-star, upon hitting a target with Surge, increases frost damage by 11% for 15 seconds. I think that's really nice. Upon triggering block with Sword Shadow, reduce the frost damage dealt by enemy targets by 25% for 12 seconds. I don't think that one's as good because it seems a little niche, but I like the first part of it. So the 6-star is decent. I don't think it's necessary. I think the 5-star is really cool to be able to manually trigger that. I think really, if you're once again just going back to the advancements, I think an A0 Saki is going to be fine once we go over the kit. I think A1 is really nice though, and it is extremely valuable. And I do really like the A3. I personally think the A3 is going to be really useful because you're just increasing damage, and then you get to decide what you want to benefit from. If you're using the tank resonance, then you're going to be able to reduce the cooldown by 5 seconds. If you're not using the tank resonance, then you're just increasing your frost attack damage by quite a bit. So I think the A3 is really nice, but A1 is perfectly fine. A0 I think is going to be useful as well. So let's go ahead and go over the normals here. Now, to just TLDR the normals, all the percentages remain the same. So the normals did not change in terms of the rebalances from the CN version. They all remain the same if I'm not mistaken. So that's really nice to see. So nothing really to go over there because those are all the same. The dodge percentage actually remains the same as well for the polar front. So that's really good. So no rebalance there. It's within the skill. Now, you have to bear with me. This is a light novel, a small book, if you will, in terms of the skill. And this is where Saki just starts to separate herself. And this is why you need to take into account the entirety of a Simulacrum's kit. This harkens back to my previous 2 videos, or at least my previous video, speaking about why the entirety of a kit with a Simulacrum is so important and not just the base numbers and percentages, because Saki separates herself in terms of usefulness and utility because of what she's bringing to the table, which is very unique to Saki herself. No Simulacrum's doing what she's doing in terms of her kit and her skill. So let's go ahead and talk about the skill at this time. So dash toward the target and temporarily immobilize enemies along the path, dealing delayed damage up to 445%, and the cooldown is 30 seconds. You guys know me. If you've been on the channel, I love this cooldown of 30 seconds, which is really nice. And that damage was essentially, I believe, cut in half as well, if I'm not mistaken. But once again, it's in line to what we see with these rebalances for the Simulacrums. These 2.0 Simulacrums were just so nutty that they were just doing way too much damage. So this is the rebalance that is the norm that we've been seeing moving forward, right? So that is the skill. Now let's go ahead and move over to the other part of the skill, which is the Silent Flow Concentrated Stream. So cast a Silent Flow skill to begin charging for up to 3 seconds continuously, taunting nearby targets, which is really cool. You actually get a bit of a taunt, and absorbing damage up to 60% of max HP. That is useful, right? Because while you're sitting there charging up, you're absorbing the damage by 60% and you're taunting at the same time. That's nice, especially for a tank Simulacrum as Saki. Now at the end of the charge, deal frost damage equal to 408% of frost attack, plus 50% of absorbed damage to targets, and 20% of the unconsumed value is converted to HP recovery. So she is getting self-sustain, she's taunting, she is absorbing, so she's damage reduction in a sense, and being able to do damage all within that one skill right there. And that is a cooldown of 30 seconds. So I think that's very incredible. I really like that. I think that's a phenomenal skill. A lot going on there, and that is a, once again, a cut in half damage reduction, or a little bit more at 408%. The 50% remains the same, and the 20% remains the same in 30 seconds from the CN side, just to clarify. Now, moving on from there, we enter Silent Flow when Fortitude Resonance is activated. That's the tank resonance. Excited Flow Flashing Stream is replaced by Silent Flow Concentrated Stream. Enter Excited Flow when Fortitude Resonance is not activated. Once again, that just goes back to further explaining what A3 was really about. So when you don't have 2 tanks on the team, you're going to be in excited flow. When you do have 2 tanks on the team, you're going to be in silent flow. That's just the easiest way to go ahead and put that. Now, moving on from there, the Wanderer can gain Sword Shadow, which follows them around when using Saki skill. Sword Shadow will release Surge when the Wanderer uses Saki's Branch skill or Discharge skill. So that's very important to keep in mind, because Surge is an important part of Saki's kit, especially if you have advancement. So you have to keep that in mind, that Surge will be released when using Saki's Branch skill or Discharge skill, dealing range damage equal to 175% of Frost attack. Cooldown of Surge 10 seconds. Now, while in excited flow, Sword Shadow will release flow when the Wanderer deals damage with any weapon. That's really nice. That's a really good thing that it's with any weapon and not Saki's weapon per se. So that's really cool. Which inflicts damage equal to 45% of Frost attack on the first hit target and recovers HP equal to 57% of the damage, excuse me. So that's really nice as well. Now you're getting even more sustain, more damage recovery, right? And you're doing more damage. Now the maximum recovery each time cannot exceed 100% of attack, cooldown 0.8 seconds. Really good stuff right there, right? Now moving on, while in silent flow, so this is with the tank resonance, after Sword Shadow release Surge, the Wanderer obtains 3 blocks for 10 seconds. Oh, I didn't mean to click that. So you're having some damage reduction there. Let me go back. So you have damage reduction, 3 blocks for 10 seconds, and the maximum block capacity cannot exceed 15% of max HP. Each successful block deals counterattack damage equal to 225% of Frost attack to the target, and the Shadow of Surge increases by 100% with an added taunt effect. So once again, a lot that we have going on here. So with the silent flow, which is the tank resonance, you're getting damage reduction, you're getting a counterattack, so you're actually doing damage back, which is really nice, and you are increasing your taunt. And what else do we have here? And the shatter increases by 100%. That's pretty incredible, in my opinion, what we have there, and that is with the silent flow. So if we go back to the A6 here, upon hitting a target with Surge, increases the frost damage by 11% for 15 seconds. Upon triggering block with Sword Shadow, reduce the frost damage dealt by enemy target by 25%. Where was the one? Oh, here we go. It was A3. So silent flow, the cooldown of Sword Shadow Surge becomes 5 seconds. So where do we have after Sword Shadow releases Surge? Okay, I'm trying to see where that plays a role. Ah, I see. So up here, discharge skill, dealing range damage equal to 175% of frost attack. Cooldown of Surge 10 seconds. Okay, interesting. So instead of it being 10 seconds, it'll be 5 seconds. Oh, that's really nice. I really like that tank resonance, and this really has me excited to pair Meryl with Saki, because I think that combination is just going to be phenomenal in my opinion. Because I really like the silent flow. I like both of them. I like both the excited flow and the silent flow, and this is what really is unique about Saki and what makes her so exciting in my opinion anyways, is that you have different ways to play her. She has variety. She has different team comps that she can be on. She has flexibility in that aspect, and it's really dependent on maybe the scenario that you're taking on, the type of enemy that you're going up against, and what you need in terms of are you looking to out DPS or are you looking to tank a little bit more. But even when you're tanking, you're still doing, I think, pretty good damage. So I like the skill. Once again, a light novel, but it's very interesting. And then we have the discharge, and it's basically doing damage. Now the discharge, there was a rebalance there as well. I would say a little less than half in terms of the rebalance. Once again, part of the course though for global rebalancing. So that is Saki in a nutshell in terms of what's on paper, her kit, and what she's bringing to the table. For me personally, I'm super excited. My pre-analysis and my theory, I'm going to go ahead and give you my kind of early thoughts on Saki, is that she's going to be just fine. Actually, let me rephrase that. I think she's going to be quite good, in my opinion. I think she's still going to be a core asset to the Frost team. I think she's really going to surprise some people and exceed their expectations, much like Ruby did for me. Her Shatter's phenomenal. Her charge is good. She has the Frost Resonance, and she's bringing utility as well as damage. I think she's going to be fine. and I think she's going to fit on whatever type of Frost team comp you're trying to put together, whether it be Tsubasa, Frigg, and Saki, or if you're trying to do Frigg, Meryl, Saki. It really doesn't matter in my opinion. I think you have so much flexibility and variety here, and you can really let your imagination run wild on what you're going to be doing with Saki for team comps. Ah, that's unfortunate. I thought I'd be able to see the move list. So yeah, I'm super excited about Saki. She's going to be coming here, in 2 days. So I cannot wait. Stay tuned to the channel. I'm going to be doing my massive polls that I do for Saki, and then we're going to do our first impressions, and then we're going to do our deep dive, in-depth review, and then we'll be doing a tier list and probably many other videos with Saki because of how flexible and the variety that we're going to be able to test her with. So cannot wait. Super excited. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, and I'm going to get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name is Cody, but you can call me further. I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.